Hey Oddly Rival, welcome back, and welcome everyone. I didn't expect to see you guys so early. But yeah, we are gonna continue the story for Valentine Fantasy today. So let us go ahead and do that as Boogeyman stares into our soul while we listen to some jazzy Valentine music that's not of the same year. Yeah, hello, thanks for joining again. We will now be continuing episode 2 and 3 today. Don't mind these open quests, I just did a drop quest before we began. Yo, Giovanna, welcome. So yeah, let's just jump into episode 2. You know, I've had this piano hooked up all this time, but I kind of been putting off properly connecting it to a digital connection. So I'm just giving it a go today. As we wait for the next part, because what else are we gonna do? So yeah, where we last left off, what happened? We got abducted into Boogeyman's world, and it was a mistake apparently, but there's something haywire going on after you reach the Candyland section. It seems the giants who should be belonging in Boogeyman's area have invaded the Candyland area and are now trying to eat the children as well as everyone else there. Hopefully they'll eat behemoths, but we'll see. Hope your day is going good, everyone. Alright, let's begin. I'm not Chirag! God, that fucking face. Head pounding. Why are y'all looking at me? Don't you ever do something as stupid as trying to shield me again, you got it? I'm the one who should be protecting you. Are you injured? Or does it hurt? What you did made me think back to that time with Kushi. I was so scared. I thought we'd be gone and you'd lost you to the fire dance. I know, Jirog's too perfect. You wake up to a flurry of voices and concerned faces, still not quite certain exactly what's going on. I'm so glad you're okay. I swear my heart stopped beating when I saw you lying there unconscious. Ark, you're here. I'm so glad you're safe. I was helping Babylon look for you. I see. So Mother asked you to come search for me then. Which means you must know of the fight we had. And the terrible thing I said. Oh, let's put that aside for now. I'm sure we can resolve that by the end of the story. We'll talk about it later. What's important right now is making sure you're okay. So, how are you feeling? Do you remember what happened to you? Let's see. I remember a really loud boom, and then the walls began to crumble. Yeah, right! That's because the giants from the Nightmare Forest suddenly raided Candyland out of the blue. They started crushing all the candy houses, and they almost became a real Earth sandwich yourself. I wouldn't mind being sandwiched by a few of the characters in this game. Giants, where are they now? Think of the children! And everybody else. Well, the giants are gone. There was this crazy old scary dude who was like even wilder than they were, and he laser-eyed them all. Okay, well, I guess that concludes that arc.
Yeah, I probably don't have to expand on that, but like you said, the Lord defeated all the hungry giants for us. The moment he saw you, it's like some kind of switch was flipped in him, and he got real scary. Oh, and speak of the devil.
Balor begins approaching you from some distant lookout point. His body is covered in bruises and scars. Not that you could tell because it's fully closed.
Seems like you're gonna be okay. But you mustn't worry, Grandpa like that, okay? Do you understand?
I feel mostly fine now. Thanks for saving Aaron Balor. Sounds like you missed quite the party.
Gratitude for having slaughtered. Seems there's a first time for everything. All I really did, however, was exact my revenge on them. My motives were far from pure.
Yo, Zeno. Welcome, welcome.
But what matters is that you're alive. Your death would mean the end, you know.
Imagine being eaten by large hunks. Oh, I imagine that all the time.
Are you sure you're capable, or those injuries of yours aren't just cat scratches? Here, let me take a look at you.
Balor turns to Ketchi as if simply to humor him. The look on his face is one of indifference. He seems completely unaware of the countless ripe wounds pock-marking his entire body.
You act as though I've never fought in a battle before. I can assure you, these wounds are par for the course. I've experienced far worse, and surely will again. These require nothing more than time to heal.
No. I'll hear none of that bravado. I don't care how strong you are. Nothing in this life is a sure thing.
Without allowing Balor even a moment to back away, Ketchi begins furiously, almost invasively, tending to his many wounds. Balor seems bemused by this, if anything.
You surprise me, King of Cats. Few other royals would dare dirty their hands like this. You do know kings are expendable, right?
I used to think that being a king meant always exuding an air of dignity and majesty. That was the most important part.
Yeah, not just Balor, but apparently Ketchi was the King of Cats, and he was, in his story, was replacing the previous King of Cats, whose name I forget, but he was given a name during that story. Well, I guess that's just how it is.
Although I've never bothered thinking about why and how all the prior kings have been dethroned.
Too busy to think. But yeah, kings are expendable, not just in this game, but I guess in real life too, even though they take a while to pass away. Rip Elizabeth.
But nowadays, all that real stuff goes out with the kitty litter. There are far more important things to think about.
What makes a king in Tir Nog is the ability to maintain absolute control over the notoriously capricious Fae. This means that for royalty, the concept of protecting others never enters the equation. Those others do not exist to be protected, but to be corralled and tamed. When put in this context, the absolute primal fear Balor instills in others not only makes more sense, but really goes to show just what a perfect ideal of a king he is.
You're a funny one, you know that. But as future king in Tir Nog, you have a lot to learn. You're far too naive. You know not the tenets of terror. Striking fear in the hearts of others is at the core of what it means to rule the fairies.
But why does it still have to be that way? Why can't we all just get along? Wouldn't that be better nowadays?
To know what good governance is, one must first know what it's not. It's king's duty to learn from and own up to his mistakes. Always remember, if half of your subjects approve of you, that means the other half oppose you. And even those who praise you for a job well done may denounce you for your very next act. It is impossible to please everyone. As king, you must own these missteps, for someone always waits in the ways to rectify your wrongs and succeed your throne. Even if you don't lose the throne to some gallant usurper, old age will eventually chase you from it all the same. So to reign without leaving critical scars on the heart of those left in his wake, a king must be the most ruthless of tyrants. I think maybe we should check in with Boogeyman and Mr. Izamna. They must be in shock after what happened.
They're likely formulating some kind of contingency plan in case things go awry again. We should see if they need help. That's a good idea. Let's try and find them. Not much we can do, but let's give it a go. Valentine Fantasy and Eternal Fairyland. Episode 2. The Magic of a Smile. Although the giant's incursion has been quelled, the children in Candyland are still quaking with fear. After some mild searching, you find Boogeyman wandering alone from one broken candy house to another in an effort to assess the full extent of the damage and check for survivors.
Why? I just don't understand why the giants from the Forest of Dread would come to attack Candyland. They were supposed to be under control. What could cause them to ignore their commands?
Was there a bug in the programming? Has the system been attacked by some kind of virus? But if that were the case, then surely Hephaestus would be aware and pick up his phone, or reach out himself, for that matter. The more he thinks about it, the more Boogeyman begins convinced that some maleficence is at play here.
Who's behind it? I couldn't say. But I might just know someone who could. The other overseer of this world.
He turns to face a mirror inside the candy house and begins to recite an incantation of sorts.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who has sought to make this world fall?
Oh, what the fuck is that sprite? There's a sprite for the mirror? That's surprising. A face other than his own looks back at him from within the mirror and answers his query with an inorganic, monotone drawl. Magic mirrors such as these seem to serve as the security cameras for this world, integrated into every candy house and designed to be as inconspicuous as possible. Whoever happens to be looking through these mirrors is getting a perfect view of every child, and should be able to catch any incidents before they have a chance to get bad. Their role is absolute paramount in Boogeyman's vision of instilling discipline and repentance through fear. Yet despite the severity of the giant invasion, there was a striking absence of any warning whatsoever. Something, Boogeyman reasons, is not quite right here. And before the mirror is the main villain of the story. He who poses this query holds no right to be made aware of the details surrounding this flight.
No right? Am I not the king of this world? I have a right to know everything that goes on within it.
He who claims supreme reign knows not that it has ended. His throne of fear and redemption has been apprehended.
Speak clearly, you cursed thing. Who would dare challenge my rule?
Boogeyman strikes the wall in frustration with considerable force and draws himself in close until he's only inches from the mirror's surface. Seething anger would surely send any child fleeing in tears, but the figure in the mirror remains cold and stone-faced, as well as completely silent. No answer is given.
Fine. Let me ask you a different question then. Why is it that the children who made chocolate can no longer return home?
The usurper has overridden the laws of this land. The means of escape he once knew does not stand. However, I say, be that as it may, there may yet exist but a singular way. The face within the magic mirror for the first time shows a hint of emotion. It stares back at Boogeyman condescendingly, seemingly amused by the dire turn of the events that have unfolded. Meanwhile, now that Housamo has been reunited with you and his students, you're finally beginning to realize that currently there is no means of returning to the real world. You can't go back home. But why not?
Well, Boogeyman is investigating the root of the problem as we speak. I wish I had better news for you. Let's hope he finds something. I'm assisting with the investigation, along with numerous friends and students, but I'm afraid there may be a long road ahead.
There are children still crying among all those visibly shaken by recent events. Housamo himself can't hide his own unease, as much as he wishes he could put on a strong face.
Those who've offered to help Itzamna each come racing back to him, one after another, with new findings to report. But there's a pervading sense that none of the news will be good. Eee! So that's why they're featured in this event. And there's leaked, of course. I mean, if there's Benten and there's Kunioshi, it makes sense there's leaked. The other crafters, I guess, are here as the support team. Actually, yeah, Kunioshi and Benten are probably part of the support team, along with the rest of the crafters, although, you know, Kunioshi and Leaked are not technically creators, rather, for Itzamna.
I went and took a look at the border between Candyland and the World of Horrors. It's just as you suspected. Itzamna. My findings are the same. The World of Horrors is gradually taking over, I regret to say.
Yeah, that's right. They're students. We've never seen them directly being under their tutelage, but it's been hinted at several times, whether it's by the art or through some other context.
Yeah, exactly as you and Mr. Boogeyman thought. Candyland has been consumed. It won't be long till there's nothing left.
It's been a long time since I voiced you, Kotobupas. It's good to be seeing you again.
Nice reconnaissance work, Leaked.
Fabi says, Arachne. Surprised to see you here, Kotobupas. I kind of want to say hi to Kotobupas, but there's also Leaked. Leaked, alright.
My good friend. What's that we could meet under better circumstances than these?
Oh, he's good for your husband now first. I mean, yeah, Pick Leaked is a surefire way to, you know, have some funny scenes. But also, Kotobupas, I actually do like Kotobupas a lot. Not really appearance-wise, but his role in Chapter 12 was quite nice. He became kind of like a breakout role there, and I kind of wish he would maintain an important role moving forward, because he was essentially acting in place of the Summoners during that chapter as, you know, our main to and fro. The next to join the group is Boogeyman, who emerges from inside a nearby candy house and comes power walking over.
Boogeyman, you returned! Have you learned anything further? You first, if you please. I have a feeling your intel will be of more immediate value than mine. As you wish. It seems the balance between worlds is collapsing. Good children are being exposed to horrors undeserved.
The balance is collapsing. You said Candyland has been consumed. Is that why?
Well, the bottom line here is that Candyland is no longer a safe haven from the horrors beyond its borders. If we can't find a way to quell the fear and anxiety taking root in the hearts of these school children, Candyland will be no more. But as long as we're able to log out, this place is our only solace from absolute terror. We must do what we can to save it.
Yeah, but how? How do we make everyone feel safe? Well, we have to work with this candy. Your actor brains trying to come up with a solution to this seemingly impossible crisis. Then, in a burst of inspiration, Kachi turns and whispers something to Arachne and Kotobupas.
Oh, I like that a lot. And the size will be perfect, I think. Definitely. Kachi's stature makes him a great choice for it.
I think fashion time has passed. Or did he come up with something?
Just you wait. What we've got in mind is strictly to be the cat's meow.
And with that, the three of them disappear off to somewhere, leaving the rest of you to attend the seemingly inconsolable children.
Hey now, doesn't this look tasty? Dry those tears and come have some chocolate with me.
Children, gather around. I brought a new storybook for you all. And today's story will be especially good, I promise.
Ordinarily, the children would be quick to gather, all smiles and excited laughter. But the trauma of recent events doesn't seem quite so easy to break through.
They are incapable of looking past the giant's assault. It would seem that Candyland has forever become changed in their eyes. Fear is a powerful emotion that leaves deep scars. Overcoming it will require something of much greater impact.
Well, look at you taking the lead role. Let me try something.
Leave it to me. Maybe I can get you through.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
What is this? Do some funny voices. I've been doing that all this time. Tell the most hilarious story you know. I'm not much of an anecdote storyteller. Perform a stand-up bit. So, two nuns walk into a bar. I actually don't know where that's going. Imagine we get Van Jurong 4-star. Oh, no more Jurong variants. Not at least for 3 more years.
You're so funny, even though you didn't say anything funny.
You certainly do know how to elicit a smile. Unfortunately, it seems that talent of yours has little effect on the children. Looking around, you can confirm that aside from Zhurong, none of the children appear amused by your effort. In fact, their faces are so dour you can't even tell if they're listening.
Isaac, no recourse here. Nothing we can do to get their minds off the attack.
My god, Jurong's expressions are so good. You've tried everything. Bringing a smile back to the children's faces seemed nothing short of impossible. But just as several of the adults present began to succumb to the same hopelessness. Hey, variant time! This is Ketchy's episode.
Ta-da! How do I look? It's perfect, isn't it?
Marching band of cats parades and from a distance. At the head of the line is Ketchy, proudly waving a conductor's baton through the air.
Amazing! This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity gifted to me by the gods. I must sketch this at once. Now's not the time for that. I'll voice for you later, okay?
Timing, Kuniyoshi. So, this was your plan, huh? That outfit looks perfect on you. Pencil me in for some cuddle time later.
Yeah, sure. I would say no to that. Just a little bit, though. And bring a brush in case my fur gets all tousled.
Adorable kitty. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Ketchy's cuteness, honestly. It's just that he gets massively overshadowed by Jurong's cuteness.
We've already tried so much, though, Ketchy. What makes you think that this will be any more effective? Nothing we've tried has made a dent in the mood of these children. Their trauma is simply too great. Give me a chance here. With everyone's support, anything is possible.
Yeah, he really is cutie. Ketchy confidently spins himself around and... besides the Jurong plushie, I do want a Ketchy plushie, because he would be super cute too. And instead we got a Tezon for some reason. And faces a new little band of cats. He raises his conductor's baton.
Is everybody ready? Let's get this concert started! And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, meow!
Wait, is this a battle sequence? Are we battling the children? That just doesn't make sense. No, it's probably the end of the episode. Unless we actually start murdering the children right now for some reason. Which literally would not make sense. Yeah, it's over. So, no battle sequence. That's probably in part 2 of this episode. LifeWonders next plushies, Ketchy and Jurong. Yes, please. I haven't really been interested in their, what's called, memorabilia and collectibles yet. But if they did release those, I actually would be very likely to get them. Oh my gosh, it's Jurong! Jurong twice in a row. That was bizarre. Okay. I feel like I already saw my login bonus today. Alright, voice is getting a bit choppy for some reason. Very cool Wi-Fi stream. Hugging my blodge. I have some plushies around my bed. I don't really keep them in my bed and hug them anymore just because they take up too much space. But I like looking at them. Alright, part 2 of episode 2. Let's do this. Oh no, I've been muted all this time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm done. I was sneezing earlier, so I muted myself. Anyways, Catchy's marching band music echoes through the now gloomy world of Candy. I will try not muting myself again in the future. But I was just talking about how I like Catchy.
Meow. Let's begin with the Beset's prelude to Meowman.
There it is.
Get ready to move those paws.
Did you see that special effect with the spinning hat? It was like a charge effect that, like, you never see that in battle, really. I guess you do, but it's never really that animated. The jaunty tune actually seems to do the trick. One by one, the children start to perk up.
Whoa! I've never seen cats playing instruments before. This is amazing. I think I read something like this in a story once.
Cats are better than cakes. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was called The Town Musician of Bremen. Has anyone actually read that story? I've never heard that story before. You once heard the story of a group of animals who were abandoned by their owners once they got old. They banded together to form a musical group and live happily ever after. The children are reminded of this fairy tale as they watch the parading cats perform. They wipe the tears from their eyes, and at last a long smile begins to creep on their faces. Oh, well, feel free to summarize the story, Lazy Crow, in the chat if you want.
That's right! We're like the town musicians of Bremen. We're here to entertain you with our uplifting music. You over there too! Come join us and dance along in our parade!
The children's eyes brighten up upon hearing the title of such a beloved fairy tale. It really is as though the town musicians of Bremen have come to personally bring them cheer. One by one, the children join the parade, pretending that they too have become part of the story.
Oh, town musician of Bremen jam session. This could go viral. I want to see these too. I will join. I can play the castanets, you know.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You have no idea how happy this makes me feel. It's the happiest feeling in the world. Catchy's marching band parade grows longer and longer as musicians and non-musicians alike jump in a line. I could say Candyland has now become transformed into a land of music. The French say, let them eat cake. Oh, I see. Well, personally, I'm more of a dog person, and I'm a fan of some cakes, but not all cakes.
Must say, Catchy, this was a stroke of genius. You have outsmarted the giants at their own game.
I don't quite get it. How do you outsmart the giants? I don't understand how this worked. They mostly did summarize the story. They just missed the part where the band beats the crap out of her. Is that what happens? I see.
Of course. Allow me to explain, my friend. Kitschy changed the story, so to speak. You see, when I was checking on the children earlier, I noticed a common thread among their experiences. The giants were not just terrorizing them at random, but attempting to stuff them full with candy to then eat them later.
So, like Hansel and Gretel? That sounds familiar. I've heard that story before, too.
Indeed. It's the tale of Hansel... Wait, is that what it's called?
Oh, no. I'm sure he's talking about a different story here.
It's the tale of Hansel and Gretel, in which two siblings are lured into the witch's candy house to become her dinner. I believe the giants took inspiration from that very fairy tale to perform their heinous act.
Also, login day 600 was, that's a very cursed amount of alpha points, but congrats.
But this world was built from fairy tales. Therefore, borrowing from another set to succeed where other plans may fail. And though most of fairy tales do contain some sort of struggle horror, there is more often than not a happy ending.
Lots of repeating numbers today.
Kitschy's plan was thus to tap into that trend and draw upon a fairy tale that concludes on a gentle high note.
Very smart thinking. So, I'm sorry I was muted earlier, but what I was mentioning was I really do think Catchy is really adorable, but the only reason why I don't fawn over him as much as Jurong is because while he may look cute, he's actually a very responsible, very forward-thinking character. In Cat Festival, he was like extremely, mature, was taking responsibility even when, it wasn't directly his fault for some things. He was very, kingly to take responsibility. really up there with the likes of Balor as other kings from Tirnanog. But yeah, that's kind of the only reason why I don't talk to him as often, because, you know, he's not personality-wise super cute. He kind of just does, you know, very mature things. But I really like his character too. It's just, you know, not something I would, you know, squee over. But yeah, catchy, very cute, but also very mature and very clever, as you can see. And has strong principles, such as his choice of, you know, just remaining as king without doing any magic. And his plan seems to have worked. If the conga line of laughing and dancing children making his every move isn't any indication.
Thank you, everyone, for being such a wonderful audience. Nothing brings me more joy to a musician than seeing happy listeners. So please, show us those pearly whites and let our music fill your hearts with joy.
I feel like I'm voicing Monokuma.
Yay!
The children respond with a collective cheer and a roar of applause that echoes through the entirety of the once mighty Candyland. Ketchi blushes. The response is more positive than he could have ever hoped for. The kids surround him, still laughing and dancing merrily. But from within that crowd, one child steps out and approaches him directly.
I just want to say thank you for the wonderful music. And I want to ask if, I can give you the chocolate I made. Hey, no fair! I was going to be the first one to give him my chocolate. Here, if I give you this, will you play another song?
The floodgates open, and seemingly every child in attendance begins offering chocolates to Ketchi, each one requesting an encore as they do so. Oh no, is it time for Fat Ketchi variant as he eats too much chocolate?
I suppose just one more wouldn't hurt. How about it, Bane?
Pleased with the overwhelming positive reaction. Our response, Ketchi agrees to perform one more song for the kids, but before he knows it, that one song becomes 3. Elsewhere, Itzawan has sought to take this opportunity to begin work reconstructing the compromised Candyland. First on his list is to restore its happy, carefree appearance, removing any vestiges which might remain of the incursion. How the fuck did he do that instantly? What? Well, I guess, you know, that's part of his sacred artifact, whatever it is. You know, he was the one that designed his place. Maybe he's able to rebuild it easily too as a result.
Ew! Well, that was exhausting. Still, it was worth it to see all the kids smiling again.
Yeah, I mean, he designed his place, so he might be able to rebuild it too. Nice work, Ketchi. But I'm surprised you could pull that off. It was an incredible performance.
I couldn't have done it without everyone else pitching in. And I'll be honest, I was a little worried it wasn't gonna work. Oh, Lore, there you are. So, what do you think of the marching band?
I'm not certain how to value music. These ears are accustomed only to the sound of my enemies falling to the dirt.
Alright, we got Balor.
However, you showed genuine authority and decisiveness leading your band.
You acted as a true king actor. See, even Balor agrees. I told you, like, Ketchi, like, as cute as he is like one of the most mature characters out there. He takes responsibility, he takes charge, he comes up with ideas, and, you know, he leads. And, you know, it might not have worked, as he said, and he was worried it might not work, but he still went through with the plan anyways. That follow through is very important when it comes to being a successful king. And when he's falling to the kind of music too. Let the bodies hit the floor.
To that end, I commend you for your admirable performance. And for what it's worth, the sounds you produced were inoffensive.
I'm happy to hear you say that. I was worried you just brushed it off as a bunch of noise.
From Balor, that's honestly high praise. And for someone other than himself, no less. It's kind of scary, like a bad omen.
Hey now, watch how you speak to your grandpa. You don't want to push your luck with me, you little so-and-so.
Oh, sorry, Valor. We didn't mean to upset you. We thought your words were very kind. Even before when you gave me the advice about what it means to be a good king, I really appreciated it. It was a thoughtful gesture.
You see how he takes it on the nose? Like, Balor did give advice, although it wasn't exactly of the warmest perception. He pretty much told Ketchi, you know, what did he say? He had to rule by fear and all that. And, you know, Kechi didn't, like, he did, what's called, say, does it have to be that way? But he at the same time accepts the advice, as you can see here. He's a very receptive kind of king, too. Laura scoffs at Kechi's remarks, but makes no effort to refute the claim.
I believe everything you said was true. After all, you've been a king much longer than I have. And a current one at that.
Yeah, believe it or not, Kechi's not actually a king yet. He's more like an incumbent king. I think so, anyways. I'm not sure if at the end of, I can't remember if at the end of Cat Festival he ended up being the actual king or not. He did good, Kid Balor, pretty much. Jurong, I don't know, he's probably up between, you know, what's called, having translated lines where he shouldn't, since he should have his original event translated first. Just like Itana and many other characters in the story.
But I plan to continue forging my own path away ahead. I know you said no king can please everybody, but I won't try anyway.
That's another thing from Kechi, you know? He hears this, you know, this adversity, and he accepts it, but he also tries to go against it and does his own thing. He did say something very similar to this in Cat Festival too. I have no idea how Itsuno SA does all of that. Only at SA level 100, probably. Laura stares deeply into Kechi's eyes for a moment, without saying a word.
Kechi, are you implying that I'm old? Set in my ways, perhaps? Insinuating that my way of ruling is outdated?
No, not in a way. Why would you ever think that?
If that is what you believe, then prove it. You got one shot at being king. If you think you can turn everything around, try. Yes, you're old GG. The attempt alone is admirable, and you may prove your ego bigger than even my own, an ego worthy of a ruler.
Oh, that's actually kind of deep lore. Just like how deep you went in me last night. You come a long way, Kechi. You calling me old? Says the grandpa.
That's an entirely separate matter. And when you call me that, it makes me overjoyed. Ugh.
Some time passes as the three of you continue discussing the finer points of Regency until the conversation is finally cut short by Boogman's return.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think now would be a good time to reconvene with Itsuno and determine our next move. What brings me to ask for your assistance again? Since it's really meddling that you're stuck here in the first place.
He notes his eyes are looking away from you, his head lowered in shame. He seems genuinely remorseful. Well, I'm happy to help. I mean, we have no way home otherwise. You'll help too, won't you, Gramps?
You can count me in, at least. I can never leave all those kiddies stranded in a place like this.
Oh, I can't say no to my sweet grandchild. I'll do whatever I must for his sake.
Laura's response again gives you pause. You've never seen him act so outgoing and sociable before today. The three of you follow Boogeyman back to the others. Yeah, the writing is pretty good in this story for the characters. I feel like it's been, you know, at least in the previous, maybe stories from 2 years ago, it was very hit or miss in terms of the writing. But this one, it seems fairly consistently good both in character and plot development. They're all seated inside one of the candy houses, ready and waiting to be discussed whatever may be coming next. And Lord Isama, what does it do? Not sure.
Leaked? Just where have you been? I thought you agreed you'd help me make chocolates. Oh, I wanted to make good on that promise, believe me. But I had more important things like being on a spotlight for the story. But the fact is, Arachne got to me first. Well, okay. You're off the hook this time. But I plan to make more soon. So don't bail on me then. You got it? Absolutely. You have my word. Assuming I'm free at the time, of course. Probably. Katoba boss, I finished sketching out a rough draft of what I think your next classmate should look like. Thoughts? Whoa! That's amazing. Though maybe at a vest like this. Good. See, I was kind of hoping you'd be my shop assistant at the next event, if you'd be up for it. In return, I could help design a little line of costumes for your next portfolio, perhaps.
In the context of the creators, Kuniyoshi seems to be a lot more productive and helpful. Without the creators' context, he seems just, more straightforwardly obsessive. Not that, he did it necessarily in a completely bad way, but in this case, you can see he's really channeling his energies creatively into, his guild as well as his school.
That sounds like a deal to me. Well, would you mind wearing a costume too? You wearing an animal suit would be the icing on the cake.
Sorry to keep everyone waiting. Thank you for showing up. I'd see your cosplay too, Kotobu Plus. Who said that last line anyways? It was Kotobu Plus. He wants Kuniyoshi to try an animal suit. Okay.
Oh, sure. Would you maybe want to help me out with sales in that case? You could be the shop assistant's assistant.
Alright. I think this is everyone. Those of you still standing, please feel free to sit wherever there's an open chair.
You, Kechi, and Belor find a round table to sit at, which happens to look just like a big chocolate chip cookie. Man, I'm hungry. The others all find seats as well, with only Itzamna remaining standing. His posture and speech calls to mind a chairman addressing a group of shield holders.
I think we can all agree Kechi saved the day with his quick thinking, but we are, shall we say, not out of the woods yet. Which is why we are gathered here now. I turn the floor over to Boogeyman to address the current situation.
Boogeyman rises from his seat and exchanges places with Itzamna, probably beginning his presentation. The proceedings have taken on a distinct air of formality at this point.
At present, there are two main issues to contend with. The first is that we apparently have become prisoners of this world. Our communications with Tokyo have been cut, meaning we have little choice but to manage the situation on our own. The second problem concerns the world of horrors, which for one reason or another has escaped from our control.
Despite everything that's happened, it seems a lot of those present are caught off guard by this declaration. Gasps and anxious whispers fill the air.
The giant's incursion is the result of the sudden and unexpected loss of control, and I deeply regret the pain it's caused. I fear the children presently trapped in the world of horrors, without my supervision, have been exposed to great danger. Keep your head up, Boogeyman, and let's do what we can for them. You can relay your apologies once they're safe and sound. Until then, however, we're all gathered here to come up with a solution, so let's focus on that.
Boogeyman, head down and shame, finally lifts it and nods with regained focus and clarity after hearing Itzamna's words.
This virtual world has been digitally constructed within my sacred artifact, albeit with some modifications by Hephaestus. The source of my sacred artifact's power is everyone's belief and perception of fear. Without that, it holds no power at all. To lose the fear of the sandbox world loses its stability. We would very likely be force ejected into the real world.
He quickly raises a hand in air, eager to ask the follow-up question.
I perfectly understand what you are saying, and there's definitely merit in that plan.
Yo, Joe, welcome. So essentially, are they saying that we should make the kids forget their fears? Or, not believe in fears? That seems a bit too extreme.
But do you truly believe this is something we're capable of doing? Particularly from the inside of the sacred artifact itself?
Very cool of Leek to take charge as well. I mean, he is a ruler. He did that in Nightmare Kingdom as well. He wasn't a featured character there, but he did take charge with the situation. Simply though the question may be, even Big Ben seems to be taken aback by it, he can't quite seem to find the words to answer. Itzamna, on the other hand, seems wholly unperturbed by the prospect, a cunning smile slowly stretching across his lips before he addresses the crowd once more.
There's no need to worry about that. I have something in mind.
I see how Jurong starts crying because the protagonist is dying. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be scared by the giants at all, but he does seem to care a lot about us, which kind of misses the context though, because we've never seen his big debut story. Oh, what sort of classes? Good luck with them either way, though. So that was episode 2 of part 2. We should be moving on to episode 3. So that didn't even have any battle then. This is a very short couple of chapters then, if that's the case. It hasn't even been an hour, has it? Oh, I guess it has. It's almost been an hour. Alright, episode 3, part 1. Let's do this. But yeah, while we wait, more thoughts on the story so far. What even happened in this chapter? Or this part of the chapter? Yeah, I guess not Boogeyman, Ketchy and Balor were vibing with each other. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ketchy as a character because it's one of the most mature in the entire game. Because, a lot of characters in this game are, they're quirky and zany, but a lot of times they're not mature. They just kind of stick to their own ideals. But with Ketchy anyways, he always seems to be thinking about not just himself, not even himself. He just thinks about everyone else. He puts everyone else first as that kind of king. And he comes up with solutions and all that. And, Balor recognized that sort of a successful regency where he initially doubted that kind of way because he sought to rule by fear. Ketchy demonstrated that there might be a possible other way, which I think, goes to show that Ketchy's not afraid to just follow from another king's example, but instead make his own rule and to see if that works or not. As for the rest of the story, there's a magic mirror. The sprite is kind of scuffed for that, honestly. They could have made it larger, instead it's like this very tiny sprite that's just floating there. Surprised that they are going with making happy endings for fairy tales, because a lot of them do not end well in the original versions of fairy tales. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be some horror endings because besides them beating up the burglar, which in some sense is a happy ending. They did go with Hansel and Gretel, and I'm pretty sure that has a happy ending too. But they just ended it off with a bad. Oh man. Those be itchy like that. This mustache actually tickles quite a bit. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing what other sort of stories are given out. But yeah, let's continue the story. And this is the story of a historic individual regarded by some as a saint and by others as a witch. Wait. This is Jeanne d'Arc, or Joan of Arc. This is the exception that Arc summoned. Interesting. Are they Tirnanog? That shouldn't make sense either. With the power of human minds, we can make them bad endings. Also, your beard looks nice. Thank you. I work hard on it. It actually does take me like maybe 3 to 5 minutes to get them all partitioned properly and tie them up. Her tale begins in the countryside where she was born, and from which she takes a stand to face the looming crisis plaguing her nation as it stares down to defeat in a great war. To command an army is like a divine calling for her. She leads her people through many a victory, earning her the moniker of saint by her comrades and countless others she saved. She puts her life on the line again and again, foolishly, they say, gallantly charging into her enemies' camps with little chance of returning from them. But she always does return. To her enemies, she is no saint, but a witch from a doomed land who wreaks havoc despite there being little left to fight for. So, the Witch of Orleans, that's her other name. She is cruel and tempestuous, striking fear into the hearts of all those who stand against her. Ooh, there's this. Oh, wow, look at that. She got eyeballs this time. In her, when we see her in her exception form, we never see her eyeballs. But in this case, you can actually see it very clearly. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see what's going on with this art, but it looks vaguely like she's crossing her legs while carrying some sort of metal cross of some kind that is not cross-shaped. I don't know, she's holding something in her back. When are we getting an Arc dungeon? I'm looking forward to that, yeah. Originally, fairy tales were more like morality plays with lessons like, don't go into the woods, you will be killed and or eaten. I mean, they're doing that too, with other things. Besides Hansel and Gretel, there's also the boogeyman in general. There's no real happy ending with the boogeyman. You just get abducted. I don't know if you're supposed to return or not, but yeah. They're grazing it. Maybe they're not going as far as you'd like, but they're grazing the bad endings. Unlike other, companies like Disney, which completely washes the endings. Eventually, however, even the craftiest of witches falls, and the saint of the story winds up a prisoner of her enemies, whereupon she's bound in chains and burned in flames. A number of reasons are given as to how she could wind up burning at the stake without repercussions from her homeland, given her saintly status there. So she was actually not killed by her homeland, by those who captured her. I didn't know that. Well, I don't know how accurate this is to the Ark story, or the John story. One suggests that she had proven too much to handle even on her own side, running amok and starting to proverbial fires wherever she went. This made her something of a pariah. Her infamy had become a threat to the king of the faltering land, so he simply chose to accept defeat and let her pay the price in lieu of fighting for a country that had already lost. So she was on the losing side all this time. Well, I guess that makes sense if she ends up getting captured in the end. The more mystically minded posit that this was destined from the start, as the town square in the saintly witch's homeland happens to host a fairy tree. So what she claimed to be a divine calling could simply have been a farce perpetuated by cunning fae, meaning the road she followed, ultimately leading to her demise, was foreordained. Okay, looks like chapter 1's the Blower chapter, chapter 2's the Ketchi chapter, chapter 3 is going to be the Ark chapter. But where lies the truth in all of this? Was she a witch, or was she a saint? Perhaps a bit of both. In reality, no one can say for certain. This is the most we've really learned about an exception outside of the dungeon memories. So that's interesting. I'd like to hear directly from Jean once Ark's dungeon comes out. Chapter 3 is Ark's Ark. That early? No, I'm pretty sure Ark came out much earlier than that. It was like, or later. It was like chapter 8? Yeah, chapter 8. Still, her legacy has given birth to quite the tale, which has blossomed into a mighty faith that's withstood the test of time and retained its adherence to this very day. So, after this Ark chapter, we're likely going to see the Itzamna chapter next on 4, and then the Boogeyman chapter on 5, and then likely the last one's just going to be resolving the plot. Fashionista music. Valentine Fantasy and Eternal Fairyland, Episode 3, Red Riding Hood in the Dark Forest. Speaking of original stories... oh, let's see this. Allow me to present the new and improved marching costume for the sweetheart kitten we all know and love, Monsieur Ketchi. But yeah, speaking of... what was I even talking about? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, speaking of fairy tales with proper endings, if you read Ark's research profile, it actually does refer to the original story of the Red Riding Hood. And how, in the original story, the Red Riding Hood actually kills the wolf himself or something, and it says maybe Ark took inspiration if they read this right, but yeah, maybe I'll read it for you after this. We'll see. To complement the suit's regal flair and accentuate his adorable little frame, I incorporated a large ribbon upon the chest. Man, it's been a long time since I've voiced these fashionista descriptions. Valentine's fashionista. Oh no. The Boogeyman is a weird that doesn't have any real stories or myths. It's just a figure which parents made as a warning for the children. It's an interesting case, yeah. But of course, I did not do it alone. Tobalpass, honey, tell them what you did as well, s'il vous plaît. Alright. So, I designed Ketchi's boots. I took inspiration from the fairy tale, Puss in Boots. Seems appropriate to this world and to Ketchi himself, so, yeah. He does have a line about, wanting to be like Puss in Boots in, the shop. Oh my gosh. His boots are so stubby there. It's probably the angle, but they're kind of cute. These are stubby. Hey, Itano coming too, randomly.
Brilliant! Next is Monsieur Itzana, from whom I created a costume that sparkles like the stars in the night sky. Well, he's both a talented creator and a renowned astrologist, so I think the starry look seems only fitting. Especially because there's also that fairy tale about the magician who stares up into the night sky to make predictions. You took inspiration from that, right?
Wait, what story? Predictions, he looks up at the sky? I don't think I've heard of that one.
I did indeed. The design accentuates Monsieur Itzamna's otherworldly intellect, not the abundance of aquamarine. Of course, there are other gems featured as well, each one handpicked by his own students from the Art Academy, representing his connection with them.
Lizard Grandpa, best Gilf. Yeah, he's up there for me in terms of grandpas. But, I guess Tsukiomi was not the first astrologist in this game. I didn't realize that they were going for an astrologist look for Itzamna.
Next up is Monsieur
I guess they were going for a wizard look, but Itzamna is an actual astrologist, which is peculiar.
Next up is Monsieur Balor, whose outfit design both accommodates and highlights his Herculean build.
Wow, Valentine Fantasy is very privileged to have their variants designed by none other than Arachne themselves.
Knowing that Balor is royalty himself, we took inspiration from the fairy tale, The Emperor's New Clothes.
There it is, everyone knows that story, even I do.
Notice many gems adorned across both his belt and crown. This image simply screams royalty, does it not?
Okay, but why? Why are they doing a fashion show right now is the question. Balor's hole is almost visible. His hole? Okay, sure. I did not actually realize she was from the virtual world. You didn't realize she was actually in the virtual world? Yeah, they're all in the virtual world right now. Oh, I think the dragon's on top right. The Red Riding Hood, there it is.
Last but so not least, Indomitable. Honestly, we had so much to work with. I just had to hide it all under a red hood. People are naturally enticed by the unknown. They will die to know the person behind the hood. Are they a saint, or are they a witch?
Okay, well, there's the hint. You don't know the story of the Emperor's New Clothes? Okay, I can summarize it in a bit.
The design is obviously influenced by Little Red Riding Hood,
but we chose to add a hunter motif to supplant that frailty. I hope you know at least the Red Riding Hood story.
Leaked helped us with many accessories, so if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to route them his way.
I guess he would have expertise with, guns because of his closeness with Melusine. Oh, you do know the story. Okay, good. Why are you like? What's with the question mark then? So the clever idea you thought of was a fashion show. Balor loses more grandpa points. I mean, he did kind of went to a fashion show not wearing anything. Never heard of it. I have heard of the Emperor's New Groove. Well, the Emperor's New Groove is just a cheeky pun on the Emperor's New Clothes, which is honestly not related story-wise. Okay, so the story of the Emperor's New Clothes essentially is there is a king who consults a wise man for some very legendary clothing that he is selling. Although he's not really a wise man, he's more like a hustler. And he managed to sell him some clothes that only the purest of hearts can see, with the purest, closest to God, or whatever. Essentially, they're saints. And he had a bunch of counselors around him, and he said, "Oh yes, I could definitely see that," because he was ashamed that he could not see it, but he wanted to put up a front for them to actually, give the idea that he could see those clothes. So he did put them on, and of course the counselors themselves didn't want to out themselves as not being able to see them too, and wanted to see his peer. And then they all were sycophants, saying, "Oh, you look very lovely in that Balor," or whatever the king's name was. And so they went over the top with their belief on it, and they made an entire show about it. And they even announced to the town themselves that only the purest of hearts could see this clothing. And so they made a march down there to show off that wonderful clothing, which was actually a complete scam because it was no clothing at all. The Emperor's New Clothes is that. And what happened was they were marching down, and no one among the crowd said anything because they all wanted to pretend that they could see how fancy that clothing was. It's quite an interesting story because what happens in the end is eventually they pass by a child who points out and starts laughing at them that why aren't they wearing any clothes? It's ridiculous. And we implicitly, we know that the child should be pure of heart already, and is like, it just exposes that everyone has been lying, and it's a complete ridiculous farce, but everyone wants to put on that posture. So he ends up just walking back to his palace in complete embarrassment, trying to hide that, and also, I guess, the rest of the adults too. So it's a very interesting story in that way. It doesn't really have a happy ending per se, as you see, but I don't know, it's not really a bad ending either. It's more like just mocking the adults for, their desire to want to deceive others and to how haughty they are, and how transparent that is. All right, let's continue the story. Sorry for that aside.
Correct. I was inspired by Ketchi's enchanting performance. Through it, he saved the children from their fear. I thought maybe we could do the same again, substituting fun fairy tales for scary ones to break the sandbox world wide open.
Oh, I see. Oh, the Red Riding one. I see. But yeah, The Emperor's New Clothes, it's quite a good story, honestly. I thought it was pretty entertaining as a kid when I read it too. And I'm pretty sure that's not modified anything. That's just actually how it ends. He just walks back naked. Everyone really does look amazing. Is there an outfit for me too? I'll be a part of this. The rich get shamed in a meaningful capacity. I would consider that a happy ending. Well, maybe in a modern sense, the happy ending. Oh wait, lol, some of furry artists, my important origin base around the story, but with a mind control twist. So yeah, I know this. Oh, I see. So, you saw the ribbon, that's right, that's interesting.
No, honey, do you really think your girl would forget you? Of course we have a caution for you, and it is sublime. It's true, I helped her with the design. You want it to be just right.
In her usual proud manner, Arachne hands you a caution which calls to mind images of her young royal wielding a sacred sword. Not that we'll ever see art of it. I think we wore something like that for Hikari too, but actually we were never present in Hikari since we are inhabiting the mind of the hero.
This is the costume of a young king who heard the prophetic words of a dragon. Doesn't it look cool?
But yeah, everyone else's stories, well, besides the Red Riding Hood, I don't know. I don't know the story about the wizard looking at the sky, reading the future or whatever, and I don't know the story of the musicians of Bremen. But yeah,
we designed it to match Monsieur Itama's costume, the prophesying magician and the king who heeds that prophecy.
I see. So we're supposed to represent the king then? I don't think I have figured that out yet, but it looks super cool either way.
Your costume suits you very well. I could easily mistake you for the ruler of Tirananog. Hey, don't go giving him any ideas, you senile dinosaur.
Doesn't want to be disturbed by me.
Ho ho. Sounds like someone is a little jealous that we have matching costumes. Mm-hmm.
Even though we can't see our own costume.
At the very least, you were given a costume of a king as well. Certainly you should take some solace in that. That's not what I'm... whatever. Just watch yourself or you'll end up with us for real, you hear?
And they were getting so well along early in the beginning of the story. Your costume looks great too, Gramps. So don't sulk. Walking's here. It looks like we're having a royal festival.
Oh, now the rascal... now the rascal wants to come and act like a proper grandchild.
Yeah, if you listen to Blor's voice acting, he does kind of raise his voice in a squeaky, old GG kind of way whenever he's talking about his grandchild. I may have cracked my voice a bit too harshly there, though. Get a matching costumes for best grandpa. Yes, you really like Itsamna, huh? You're beginning to realize just how easy it is to cheer Blor up. Just bring up your relationship and his mood will instantly brighten. Yeah, there it is. After some time passes, the assembly is divided into two groups. One will remain to protect the already secure children, and the other will go out in search of the rest. So, the Rapungi Guildmaster and Arachne's group will stay in Candyland to watch the kids then. Which means, this is the last time we'll be singing in this story. I don't remember any tales of stargazing magicians either, but Eternal might be more tied to a fairy tale trope than any one specific fairy tale. Yeah, that could be the case. I got a feeling that someone likes Eternal very much, other than me. I started to love Ballore more and more after this event. I mean, yeah, I think Ballore was well characterized already in Chapter 9, and 10, so I liked him well enough. The story's not really changing my opinion, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I do think he's a cool character in general. I feel like they'd be better suited to the search, and I'd be better left behind, don't you think, Harrison? If I were to use my secret artifact to save the kids in the world of horrors, I might scare them even more. It can be brutal. It would be traumatizing indeed if Ark were to cast their fiery chains over the enemy, halting their wounds and burning them alive, all in view of the already frightened children. That might be a bit much, yeah. But then again, you know, a lot of, what's it called, these secret artifacts aren't exactly very PG friendly. How could such a sacred artifact be of any help whatsoever in transforming horrific fairy tales into the more pleasant ones? I almost forgot everything that happened in the previous chapter. The previous chapter was, well, the previous chapter just happened. This is a new chapter. The previous chapter was with Ketchi. It was just to cheer up the children from the aftermath of chapter 1, which was Ballore's chapter. You know, after the giants went and ruined everything. How could such a sacred artifact be any help whatsoever in transforming horrific fairy tales into more pleasant ones? You're overthinking things, I think. You have a good heart, that's enough. You're strong, and we need strength. Okay, that's fair enough. I'll do my best not to bring shame to the Otomachi Guild.
Be careful not to exert yourself, Ark. Though I have no doubt that you'll do fine. Regardless of the brutality of your attacks, I believe the overt kindness of your being will leave a more profound impression. And you'll have to believe me on that, given that I'm now a prophet and forest elder.
Itama smiles widely, pleased with his own jest. Well, I may not be able to match the charm of Ketchi. Well, I'll do the best I can, which should be easy since I'll have Ayrton by my side. Yep, the Ark chapter. I'll become the protagonist of this fairy tale. I'm counting on you, Ark. Whistle flirtatiously. I don't know how to whistle.
That's the spirit. Besides, there are definitely far worse choices to educate and guide children than you. Are you looking at my way? Do geckos have those self-preservation instincts?
Their banter fills its purpose, putting a smile on everyone's face as this otherwise rather dangerous and unpredictable mission begins.
Ugh. If you are worried about your attack, why don't you try taking a different approach?
What do you mean? Should I not use my chains? He points at the gun attached to Ark's new costume.
That was included by my insistence.
You can thank me later. Right, they did say that it was leaked who was responsible for the furnishings of this costume.
Itama actually designed it, but I supervised, so I take a bit of pride in it. I'm quite learned when it comes to firearms, you see, and I can tell you this. Your gun packs more punches than the real deal.
Yeah, that's true. Not just Melazine's expertise, but he also stocks a bunch of guns and other weaponry because of a sacred artifact. I'm not so sure I can master it quite like I have my chains, but I'll give it a shot if I can. Thank you.
Just remember, it's the product of my intellect and Itama's creative prowess. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better weapon.
He continues to boastfully explain the finer points of his design to Ark.
Ketchi? You wouldn't mind if I petted you for just a bit, would you?
Not at all. It's the least I can do to thank you for all your teddy care. I hear you've been showing my clouder.
The generic meow sound effect from Ketchi. Boogeyman looks confused, so Ketchi summons a number of his kitties to show him. Oh no, it's from the other cats.
Cat. Oh, yes. In the schoolyard. I had no idea they were of your cat.
Yeah, that's the thing. In the beginning, Boogeyman actually stopped some students from having rowdiness, and he helped some cats in doing so. And I believe, you know, the only time cats really show up in any meaningful was through Ketchi's control. And so I had that in my mind. I didn't mention it though, but I guess they really did belong to Ketchi. well, I guess all of the lucky cats belong to Ketchy. Boogeyman like small creatures. Yeah, seems so. Between the cats as well as Jurong. Most of Ark's 5 stars are the same element and weapon type. Well, Ark is not a 5-star in his base rare form, but yeah, Jurong being one of many of them. He's an elementary student, so it makes sense. Elementary student teacher? Yeah, there you go. I noticed I pronounced Ketchy different as Ketchy. It should be Ketchy. I looked up.
Oh, yes, in the schoolyard. I had no idea they were your captain.
They asked me to thank you for you're always offering them treats and cuddles. I can tell your love of cats is no act, so consider this a token of my appreciation for that.
I do love cats, but sometimes I wonder if it's simply because they're among the only things who aren't afraid of me.
Ketchy? No, it's Ketchy. Ketchy sees a certain vulnerability in Boogeyman's smile, so he draws in close and lightly pats him on the head.
Cats are incredibly weird creatures. That they've grown fond of you to that extent is proof enough of your kind heart.
Sorry, I thought I smelled smoke somewhere. I think that would be bad.
In my kingdom, we often say that those who are kind to cats are strangers to evil.
Well, I wanted to thank you all too for letting me pet you. I hope you continue to put your heads out from time to time. I'll be sure to keep an even more tastiest for when you do.
Although engaged in conversation with you and Ark, Housamo takes notice of the interaction between Ketchy and Boogeyman. He smiles warmly. Damn, I was about to hide Joe's message. I call Kushi Kushit, so... I mean, that's just a very common joke, yeah.
Well, I'd say it's time to put our minds to the task. Let's save the rest of our cheer for after we've saved the children. One never knows when the next moment of danger will rear its ugly head after all. So time is of the essence. We must do everything we can to save them and set their minds at ease. Come on, everyone.
You step out of the candy house back into the main streets of Candyland. The children you've already saved greet you with warm, loving cheers. Whoa, you're so cool! The bad guy stands no chance with you around, Dragon King. Get him good!
Take this chocolate I made. You can eat it on your journey. I know how much HP it'll restore, but still.
HP. Thanks, I'll thank you when I eat it. Stay strong, kids. We'll be back. Keep cheering for us.
Kitty! Oh, so cute! Over here! Here! Kitty, kitty!
Can I pet you? Can I pet you? Oh, so fluffy!
Nay! What are you touching? Don't you know I'm the king of cats? No!
Blue treats are very adorbs.
It's always the same with kids, huh? Well, fine. I'll play with you all until it's time to leave. Deal?
I guess Ketchy's staying behind to deal with the kids. What the blue trickster looks like again? I can't remember. That was another trickster, I think. So no, I can't remember what blue trickster looks like. Ketchy surrenders to the mob of children, and it's as if he's quickly engulfed. The petting is so sore and furious. Mufu, mufu, mufu.
Hey, you, old man, give me a pigman ride.
What? And why should I do that for a little punk like you?
Be nice, Gramps. It's not a big ask. Keep smiling, no sour expressions. You don't want these kids crying again.
I won't comply, but I expect you'll do as I say later on. Do not forget this arrangement. If you got the guts to boss me around, then surely you won't mind when the tables turn once our goal is achieved.
Oh, Grandpa's feeling horny. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Kushi so much if he wasn't on one of the most useful ARs in the game, and they chose the whiniest read for his line when you equip it on someone. I mean, that's just his voicing, acting in general. It's either the whiny voice or the sad voice acting on his bass. I guess we both that way, within reason though. No funny stuff. But you have yourself a deal. Lord GP are in the negative. Yeah. You're really keeping score between Balor and Itzauna, huh?
Your commitment is noted. Now come, boy. Let Grandpa Balor show you what piggybacking ride is all about. I'll bet you never sat on the shoulders on a giant before. There aren't many out there who've gotten the experience of something like this, so consider yourself lucky.
Ah, that's cute. They actually did the the overlay there. Although I guess he's not very good at piggybacking since he's not having his legs over his shoulders.
Whoa! I'm so high up! Thank you, Your Majesty!
The kid claps his giants with pure joy as he rides atop Balor's broad shoulders. Soon enough, Balor is surrounded by even more children begging to be the next passengers. For a giant, though, those proportions seem fairly fine.
Hey, right naked! Aren't you king? Did you lose a bet or something?
Certainly not. I simply want all my cuts and scars to be fully visible, that everyone may know I have nothing to hide.
It is cute, yeah. Other children have gathered around Ark and Itzauna as well, leaving only Boogeyman with no one to entertain. Oh yeah, I guess they're not going anywhere technically, they're just here to make the children happy.
They say children are innocent, but innocence can be so cruel. Just once, one of my life's great truths, I suppose.
You know, he actually does say that in his research profile. He actually does want love, but the irony is his existence is only perpetuated by the belief and fear in him. At just that moment, one lone child sneaks up to Boogeyman from behind and gives him a great big push.
Yeah! Did I surprise you? Did I?
You're wrong. Of course it'd be you. No one else would dare sneak on me like that.
Yeah, this is for you. I worked really hard on it.
For me? Why? Thank you so much. I think I have something in my eye.
By the way, apparently, when he feels like, when he feels upset because the children are afraid of him, then he puts on a different expression of sadness and regret, and then the children get more scared of him according to his future profile. So, I'm going for that. Aw, Boogeyman! So cute! Jurong's a really nice kid. Jurong! No, there, Boogeyman, dry those eyes.
I hope you'll take good care of Mr. Boogeyman, Harrison.
Alright, well, I fully seated him. Fully seated you too.
A lot of people get the wrong impression of him, but he's a really good teacher. He does give a lot of homework, though.
So, in his research profile, it actually hints of why Jurong likes Boogeyman. And the reason, I don't know, it's probably related to his own backstory, but essentially, Jurong is, sympathizes with Boogeyman's, I guess, persona or hidden identity of something of fear. But, supposedly Jurong, I've been hinted at, has that kind of story. Spoiler alert.
I'm the teacher, so shouldn't you be asking to take care of Valentine, not the other way around?
Don't worry, Jurong. I've got him. I know he's a good teacher, I can tell. Plus, I know you wouldn't just say that.
Yeah! Want to see some cool pictures of Mr. Boogeyman? Here, check these out!
Jurong pulls out a digital camera and opens one of the safe folders on it. A photo pops up on the street, and he cycles through a few more after that.
This one's a real rare. Look at him. It's Mr. Boogeyman and the cat at school. Does he look so happy playing with him?
Jurong is a cute yet deadly creature.
Spoiler!
I mean, it's been spoiled to death. Supposedly Jurong is something more scarier than actual Jurong. He's not actually Jurong. But we will see whenever his event gets translated, along with a billion of other events that's still pending.
And look here! This is him practicing a song for them.
That's cute. I mean, in reality, everyone should be practicing to smile, as well as, just posing in front of the mirror properly.
Stop! Why didn't you even take all those?
His face turning blood red, Boogeyman tries to forcefully take the camera from Jurong. But Jurong slips from his grasp and begins screaming about, cooing wildly. That's so cute! Okay, now I want the Boogeyman Jurong AR. I didn't realize their dynamic was like this. I initially thought they had a relationship because Boogeyman was mentoring Jurong or something, but in reality it's the reverse. Jurong actually has taken a liking to Boogeyman, and it's cute.
When did I take them? That's for me to know and for you to find out. This is what happens, you never post for photos.
Jurong confirmed paparazzi. I mean, yeah. Jurong, you little trickster.
Anyway, I should get going. Do your best. We'll cheer from the sidelines. No, Jurong!
Fades to the distance. Remember that, Jurong runs off towards Ark and the others, camera still in hand.
He's too cute.
We must protect.
So, what do you do after a small practice?
Yeah, well, I'm a cat. Baby.
What the heck is that last option? Okay, I'm gonna press one.
Hey! Don't make fun of adults. I certainly hope he's not enough of a brat to publish those in the school newspaper. I can't help but notice, though, that you don't seem to be scared of me anymore, Arthur.
I'm not. I've gotten over it. And that's because you're not scary. Or rather, I'd say, you're kinda cute.
Are you being serious? Cute? No one could possibly think that about a fae like me. It's just surprising. Even more adults I've met are at least somewhat intimidated by me. It feels unnatural for you to be so relaxed around me. But I can't deny it is nice not to be feared. So, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's your demeanor that scares people. Smile more and you get smiles back. Ah, he's blushing.
If you manage to return to Tokyo, would it be okay if I stopped by to say hi next time we cross paths? I've never had anyone to talk to who has anything scared of me aside from Jurong and the cats. Everyone else just runs as soon as they see me.
Sure, but maybe ditch the mask, because that definitely might spook me. Or not, you can keep the mask on. I like both. When Jurong smiles, his eyes shine with color unlike any seen on Earth. Jurong. Never mind. I'll be happy to catch up next time. I'll even introduce you to my friends. Oh no, I made him sad. It's around this time that Isano realizes the children aren't going to stop hounding everyone, and begins gently trying to calm them so the mission can continue. Man, I should have picked the previous options. I didn't want to make Boogeyman sad. I wanted to be happy. No!
The other students have said before that you're fearless. Now I see what that they mean. At the moment, though, we need to find a way to fix the mess. Let's do what we can, Nathan.
I kind of want to redo that option just to see if he, is happier. Oh, I'll do it on my own personal time, if I remember. At long last, after much delay, the search group crosses the borderland between Candyland and the world of horrors. You hear the howling of wolves interspersed with moments of dead silence, all the while sensing that something or another is constantly drawing near. I guess we are going to the forest. I forgot how scary this place was, whatever this place even is.
We've entered the wolves' territories. They move in packs to scare children through sheer numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if they had their eyes on us since the very moment we set foot in here.
I assume the wolves aren't friendly, considering the three little pigs and Little Red Riding Hood.
Wolves really are one of the go-to antagonists in fairy tales, aren't they? I can't help but pity how so often they're treated, though. It pains me not to have their backs. But I fear their present behavior may bring real harm to the children, which I simply cannot condone. If it's any consolation, wolves in fairy tales are generally spurred to action by hunger as opposed to malice. And the reader is often moved to feel sympathy for them by the end. So there may yet be salvation for these wolves.
That's true. In one of the more common endings of the Red Riding Hood, even if it's a happy ending, the woodsman actually cuts open the wolf with his axe to save the grandma. But save the grandma, but that's pretty gruesome to cut the wolf open. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I personally felt bad for the wolf every time that story happened. And in the story of the three little pigs, I think it was like the wolf blew down the straw thing, and then he blew down some other weaker structure after the stick one. And then after, he couldn't blow down the brick one. He kept on blowing on it until, I don't know, he lost his breath and he collapsed or exploded or something. So yeah, wolves, you know, they are the antagonists, but they do get the short end of the stick. But how did the grand haven't been digested yet? I mean, not being digested yet isn't surprising. The real surprise is being swallowed whole. Because that takes a while. Yeah, that's true. Anyways, let's move on. So, where do you think the kids are? I haven't seen a single one yet. Did some of them get taken?
Come to think of it, I haven't heard any screams since we arrived. Something is definitely off.
That means it's our tough chance once again. Are you prepared, my kiddies?
Ketchy gives the order and his minions appear. They disperse in all directions to seek out the lost children.
Don't try to be the little heroes out there, okay? Once you find any children, come to us right away.
Are you certain it's a good idea to summon them? Cats and wolves aren't exactly known to get along.
No need to worry. What they lack in size and physical stamina, they more than make up for the magical prowess.
That just means Vor existed back in the day before he knew what Vor was. Oh my god. Don't tell the phrase. Well, that does make sense. It doesn't take long for a few of the cats to return with reports of one child's whereabouts, and the rest of the rescue crew follow them to the thicket. What you find is a single child curled up beneath a bush, shaking uncontrollably, seemingly trying to hide from the wolves.
No, don't need me, please.
It's alright. We're safe now. Everything's gonna be okay.
Boogeyman attempts to comfort the child, but is met only with shrill screams of terror at the sight of his face.
Sorry! I forgot that I'm not a very comforting sight.
Don't be afraid, Meow. Boogeyman's with us. We've come to save you.
Ketchy smiles at the frightened child, and this time it seems to have an actual calming effect.
Really? You're here to save me?
I already forgot what voice I did for the child. Each member of the rescue crew nods in affirmation. The child looks from one face to the next, and suddenly breaks down in tears, unable to hold back any longer. Ketchy and Samna rush to the child to offer comfort. Eventually, the tears dry up to an extent, and the child seems ready to talk.
We were captured by a scary wolf, and it said it wanted to play hide and seek with us. Everyone, you'd let us live. But if it finds us, it said it would eat us. I was so scared.
Recalling these memories caused the child to break down in tears once again. So that's
where you're hiding. Why you're hiding. There's no need to hide anymore, though. We're here, and we'll keep you safe. Wolves have a keen sense of smell, so they should have had no trouble finding you. I think the goal here was only to frighten.
How many other kids are there? Do you know where they're hiding?
There were 6 more, but I don't know where they were one hide. I'm sorry.
So, 7 in total then. This must be based on the wolf and the 7 young goats. Except the goats are replaced with children. We have no time to lose. We must hurry.
No problem. While we've been talking with my kitties, I've pinpointed the locations of the others. Let's go.
Wow, this Ketchy is super productive. Alright, you gotta go. Bye-bye, Aaron chat. Well, thanks for joining, and good luck with classes if you're still doing that. What's taking so long? Is there a battle? Is this a battle sequence? Why is it taking so long? No. Alright. Well, that is it for episode 3 part 1, and we should have one more part left over, part 2. So we will now finish this, and that will be the end of today's stream after this. So, thoughts on the story so far? This part. What even happened? Pretty much the only thing that happened was we left the building after the plan and we started comforting the children. Blora gave that kid a piggyback ride, and Kachi let everyone assault him for getting petted, and he even let Boogeyman pet, which is interesting. I guess it was a Boogeyman development for the most, what this was, to see a Boogeyman who he can really talk to, which is pretty much just Jurong and the cats, and now us. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic they have between Boogeyman and Jurong. Boogeyman, I thought, would take on the mentoring role and take care of Jurong because based on what they said in the research profile or something, or their relationship chart. But in reality, it's more like Jurong is coming by to Boogeyman to like indirectly comfort him by being casual with him, taking pictures when he's smiling, things like that. And I think that's very cute and sweet for Jurong to do that. You got to see out costumes. That's right. The very impromptu costume swap. I guess that was the idea. Ketchy originally did the musicians of Bremen, and then from there, we're gonna follow along that line of reasoning and try to resolve the problems, except entirely through costumes, just so that we can have the children stop crying. And in that way, I think that it's a very strong justification for actually having different costume skins, and also for having something specifically designed by Arachne. So it's not just a plot contrivance, it actually makes a lot of sense, and I think that's pretty smart. Alright, we are back. The pitter-patter of frantic steps echoes off the ghoulish trees. A frightened child runs for dear life, closely pursued by a dark shadow. Good story, 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm enjoying the story a lot too. Of course, it hasn't even gone halfway done, but we got to your Arachne theme as much as we did into the fashionista reprint. Yeah, the fashion introductions are always fun to voice. But yeah, the story, characterizations, character development, and progression has been good so far. And many Housamo event stories ends up feeling rather either formulaic or meandering or episodic. This one doesn't feel like any of that. It just feels like a nice coherent story through and through, with logic, progression, and good character development, because sometimes Housamo also suffers from uninteresting character writing too. Out from within the darkness, a wicked smile takes shape. This creature, accompanied by at least one other, is enjoying the hunt much too much.
I can't run any longer. Sister, where are you? Please, save me.
What costume did the protagonist wear? He wore the king costume that is like paired up with Itzame's wizard costume. Of course, we'll never see art of that because Bonbon doesn't draw it anymore for the protagonist, sadly. Honestly, can wait for the Arachne theme to return in Summer River. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Summer Adventure had some nice music besides, the fashionista theme.
We're not finished here, little one. Pick up the pace. Run like your life depends on it. Because it very may well be.
Or maybe we'll just go ahead and eat you already. I'm working up quite an appetite after all. How does that sound to you? I got it. I was wrong. I promise I won't be patted or just please let go home.
We got to see your favorite unit, Summer Jugo. Why would that be my favorite unit? I have him. I think I got him not from the event though, but from maybe. I don't remember when I got him, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't during the event. I got some Arachne though. It'd be nice to get some Shiva, but I never managed to snag him either. The child's this desperate please only cause the smiles on Willow's face to grow wider.
Why should we let you go? Things are different here now that the new King of Horrors is in charge.
We no longer have to abide by those G-rated rules from before.
Prepare yourself to experience true horror.
It's real time, my kin.
Give us a good blood-curdling scream.
Oof.
That's enough.
Let the kid go right this instant. Your true target's over here.
You dare interrupt our meal? He'll come to regret that decision.
You count two wolves before you and the fallen child. They curl back their lips to reveal their fearsome fangs, and thrust their heads back and begin howling at the moon. Suddenly you're surrounded. Dozens of wolves emerge from the bushes as if by magic.
This entire forest is our feeding ground. They are just more unlucky morsels for us to pick from our teeth. You'll rue the day you ever set foot in their territory. Come, my kin. Our feast begins!
Oof, my ear hurts. The wolves somehow begin to cackle maliciously. They realize their shackles have been lifted. No longer must they act in accordance with Boogeyman's directives.
There's so many of them! What do we do?
Their numbers are indeed much greater than expected. This is just further evidence of the unbounded power of this world.
Can we even handle this many wolves? There's one of us for every 10 of them. Guess we gotta show him who's boss.
You cannot comprehend what we're capable of. Come, my kin. Let us enjoy the spoils of the hunt at an 8% brawn rate on move.
The pack of wolves throw themselves at you and your group in one big chaotic push.
Here in these dense woods, you think you're packing match wits with a forest elder? Know your place, mutt. Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, yeah. Ooh. I thought I changed color for a second. With a circle of his golden staff, he summons a wall of trees to protect everyone from the wolves' assault. As one of the creators and designers of this virtual world, Housama's power should be nearly limitless. And that seems to be on full display here.
Amazing. The magic of a kingmaker, able to will a protective barrier into being instantaneously. What are you gawking at, kin? That's not enough to stop us. Let's win ourselves a fancy dinner.
The wolves charge at Boogeyman, who seems wide open and defenseless, only to suddenly take a staggering blow to the side and get catapulted into a nearby tree.
Don't let your guard down like that, Boogeyman. I may not be near enough to save you next time. Sorry. I owe you one, a king of giants.
Oh wow, Boogeyman punches hard. Well, more like a punch against Boogeyman.
And you.
Oh, was the one who saved him Balor? Okay, I thought it was Boogeyman who took the hit, not Boogeyman.
And you, if you're not planning on fighting, then do us a favor and leave the battlefield.
Ark, how about you just watch my back, okay? You're a snipe range after all. The combined power of you, Housamo, and Balor proved too much for the wolves to handle. This is supposed to be Ark chapter. Ark, where are you at? Their leaders let out a long and deep howl, at which point their pack as a whole completely alters its trajectory. They turn their backs on you and your fellow interlopers, and instead lunge as one at a defenseless child.
No! We're too far away!
Oh, sister!
Feeling the bonds of family from Azeroth and Kirich, I guess. The charge sound effect, the AR sound effect. Hearing the child's cry sparks a memory in Ark's head. It plays back to them like a movie on the screen. It's a shame that they must never forget. The shame of being unable to rescue their own little brother from harm. Once upon a time, he was unable to save Azeroth? I mean, I guess Azeroth is defeated. No, I don't... Sometimes they imply this stuff, and it's like... That happened in the main loop. This is a different loop, though. At least all events are different loops. I don't know how that works out, but I guess something similar happens and maybe Azeroth got screwed over in this timeline too in some way. It didn't show where Azeroth was defeated after all. It showed the Otomachi Guild base. No one else was going to come to the rescue. Their own cruelty and strength were the only things Ark could rely upon. Ark's memories overlap with the scene playing out before them, and before they know it, the chains have already been cast.
Yeah!
The primal screams of wolves split the air around you, accompanied by the rank smell of burnt fur and flesh. Oh, they didn't use their gun in the end.
I'm sorry. Please close your eyes. It'll just be a moment longer. It'll all be over soon. When you open your eyes again, the nightmare will be gone. The child does as instructed and waits with closed eyes and clenched teeth, still shaking and shuddering with fear and confusion as they smell burnt wolf meat. Alright, it's time to win this. There can be no mercy for those who would attack innocent children. Ark's fire chains glow like a beacon in the night, illuminating the dark forest as entangled wolves are burned to a crisp. The remaining wolves flinch at each and every clink, clank, and sizzle in the face of Ark's utter brutality. They slowly begin backing away and out of sight. Holy roasted wolves, Ark. The Otomachi's guild's lucky to have you. We're sorry, stay on Ark's good side. The punishment suits your crime. No more, no less. I trust the rest of you have learned your lessons. We're having wolves for dinner. The leader of the pack responds to Ark's provocation with defiance, issuing one final call to arms and leading one final charge. Pity. Dealing with an entire pack at once is kind of my specialty. Don't say I didn't warn you. Your time of judgment is nigh. The flames brought about by your own sin shall be your undoing. And now we have a battle. As the thoughts would have been, yo, I'm dead, see you in the next loop, but, and Babylon call him an idiot god. I mean, I can totally see that. That would be in character for Az's thoughts. I don't know. They're kind of like implying two different things at the same time. It's banking on your knowledge of what happened in Chapter 8, where Azazel got defeated and killed and sent back to his world or whatever, but it's not naming specifics because it wants you to reflect back on that while at the same time, you know, putting in the possibility that something else bad to Azazel may have happened. Though now that I think about it, did Azazel even show up in the beginning in Ark's memories? It was just searched in Babylon, right? It's interesting. I wonder what that means. Maybe Azazel really is dead in this timeline. It's nice to see the story of Ark develop more with their views on family. Azazel is playing games, maybe. As like their parents fight, he's just like trying to play ignorant, killing people on Call of Duty. Although I feel like this is the second time they described Jeanne d'Arc without really directly connecting them to Ark. More like just subtle comparisons. As I saw, I was uploading a new video playing Call of Duty while my parents are yeah, pretty much. Ark's chains continue to incinerate the wolves, pack after pack, with absolutely no mercy. There's efficiency in this cruelty. I can only hope to finish you all off quickly so the children don't have to see.
Don't act all high and mighty with us. You're just human. This ain't over till you're nice and snug in my belly. Well read.
I mean, I might be down for a bit more. Ark ignores the wolf's unwarranted bluster and continues hunting down the mangy beasts. Efficiently yet expressionlessly, one of the creatures manages to slip behind Ark unnoticed, however.
Ark, behind you!
Never mind, I got your back. You gotta do stuff too.
Harrison,
I owe you my life. Thank you for everything. I will now protect you forever and fall in love with you just like everyone else. A hint of emotion flickers across Arc's face. He names the video, Is there a new Arc in the game? Watch to find out. Look, wolves, just stop attacking. I mean, he might be a bit self-referential since he is, he does have memories of passives. Look, wolves, just stop attacking us and we'll stop attacking you.
What?
Some of the wolves seem to stop and consider your simple proposal, but most remain unaffected, still persevering in their fight. The gruesome battle continues, and though the child's eyes are shut, the sound and screams of slaughter are unavoidable. These sounds slowly begin to spark a certain morbid curiosity, and the child decides maybe it couldn't hurt to take just one little peek, and he proceeds to see the wolf's face burning off from Arc's chains. Eyes now open, and the sight beheld is that of a valiant figure, thoroughly subduing an incalculable number of wolves, and the figure in question looks to be Little Red Riding Hood. No longer frozen with fear at the sight of the heroes of this tale so sorely trouncing the big bad wolves, the child gives an enthusiastic cheer.
Go, go, go! Tell me what you're for, Little Red Riding Hood! You can do this! Melt their faces off!
Although knowing life and them are online, the child watches the fight with strangely detached enthusiasm, eyes glistening as he sees the face of the wolf burn off and then withering in pain and dying. Arc is worried for the child as they might grow up to be a psychopath. Arc is reminded of what they were wearing and becomes momentarily self-conscious about it, but they soon regain their composure and begin grinning widely, strengthening the grip on their chains. Little Red Riding Hunter, Arc the new BB Hood. They haven't even used their gun yet. Like, let's be real.
I'm being watched and cheered on, no less.
Arc lightly pinches themselves to ensure themselves this isn't some kind of dream. They hadn't realized until now that, even in the midst of this intense fighting, a smile had been enduring their face. They will soon answer. No spoilers! Roald Dahl's Red Riding Hood. Hold your breaths. Hold my breasts. Alright, not my breath. I'm not alone here. I have support. I understand that now. It's all thanks to you, Arthur. It's always thanks to you. Alright, I was given another weapon to use in this fight, wasn't I? Let's see what it can do! Slow down the game is what it can do. Arc draws the gun from its holster, released in chains, in order to properly test the alternative. He's something wary, however, about starting the child by the unexpectedly switching to the gun in the middle of battle. So instead of regular bullets, Arc decides to load the chamber with the chains. Chain-loaded guns. That's interesting. This will make it easier to aim. Little Red Riding Hood wasn't exactly known for her marksmanship, after all. It's very clever. Well, I guess in the same way, she's just they're just controlling the chains in the same way, but it has more initial thrust because of that gunpowder shot. The big boom rings out in the dark night. The bullets of flames, converted from Arc's chains, light up like fireworks in the dreary forest. And the wolves now corralled into a single group. All it takes is that one pull of the trigger to pierce through all the opposition at once.
You won, Little Red Riding Hood! You won! Hooray!
That's why Arc's variant is Fire Snipe. It's a Fire Snipe because they're using the regular weapon the entire time. I guess it's when they use their gun that it manages to just successfully corral everyone. Somehow, even though a gun should still just be hitting in a straight line. Way to go, Arc! That was incredible. And he looked super cute doing it. Thanks, but I couldn't have done it without you, Arthur.
I've never seen a gun shoot bullets like that before. I want to see it again. Can I, please?
A gun that shoots bullets is pretty interesting. Well, I guess it's not an unheard of concept. You've heard of those harpoon guns and stuff like that. I think they use things like either chains of some kind or like rope or two. And the idea is to, hook them on. The child's excitement is contagious, spreading to everyone as the idea that you've actually won the seemingly impossible fight begins to set in. But the celebration is cut short by the wolves are defeated and inexplicably rising up from the ground, visibly worse for wear, but not yet out of the game yet.
So only my sacred artifact has the power to truly finish the job then? Ark quickly rushes toward the child. Their chains ready for another attack. However, the wolves subvert expectations by lowering their heads to the ground and surrender.
Forgive us, please. We'll never attack the children again. We'll never ever frighten them. We'll be good boys. We promise.
Well, they are being good boys by acting like dogs right now. Ahab could have gotten the harpoon gun for Chip. He could have, but it's not. This doesn't seem right. Are they trying to trick us?
No, please believe us. We're trying to deceive you. Not only do your bullets pierce our hearts, but I also pierce through the veils that blind us to the truth.
And also through our good friend Carl, and right over there, who's now withering in pain.
Well, now, Ark. You seem better equipped to be a teacher than I am. If you can even win over these wolves.
This is all happening too fast. I'm sure we can believe them. I mean, I want to. I really do, just...
I told you that they were fickle. Concerning this world's a mock Tirananog, I see nothing out of the ordinary here.
Laura flashes you a reassuring smile. He seems fully convinced that this isn't an act. But they were ready to kill. Well, then again, there is your rule, Ark. I really do want it to be true, but... Ark still seems uncertain as well. But as if professing fealty to the king, they will circle around them and each take to a knee.
Little Red Riding Hood, we hereby pledge our loyalty, for you have opened our eyes to the truth.
As well as their chests, just like in that one story.
Will you accept our protection? It would be our greatest honor to be your vassals. We are at your disposal.
The small girl smiles. One eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers. She aims at the creature set, and then bang bang, she shoots. That's one way to end this story. Man, when Babylon hears about this. I appreciate what you're saying, wolves. However, the small girl smiles. One-eyed flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers, and she aims at the creature's heads. And bang bang, they're all dead. I'm not content with you alive. Goodbye. I'm fully content with support I already have. Your loyalty is not needed. Ark turns to you and smiles affectionately. Are you hungry? I'm getting hungry. Yes, I'm actually unironically getting hungry right now. The wolves, upon seeing the look Ark gives you, probably interpret from it that you, not they, are Ark's choice of vanguard. You'll relax their posture a bit.
I see.
Then will you at least allow us to be your servants? We'll do your bidding no matter what it may be. Oh my god, Ark, just accept. You have like 2 cute wolves that you could do whatever you want with.
Don't be ridiculous.
The only thing I might accept here is if you offer to be friends with me, and mean it. No, you want to befriend the people that chase down these kids, but you don't want them to be your lackeys? I mean, okay, up to you. The wolves yip and yap with elation. Sailing up close to Ark was overexcited puppies. You can tell Ark's not used to the affection, but they can't help smiling nonetheless. And before you guys criticize me for going for the, enslave them before you befriend them option, that is literally what, Housamo is. You're supposed to make contracts with the summoners. It's in the thing. Ark is human. They could make a contract with his wolves. And, it's like... A more alarming thing is that, what's called freaking... enslavement is just normalized in Pokemon, and yeah, it's a worldwide phenomenon. But we don't talk about that because, they're animals. But, even though they're just as intelligent. From the rescued kids beaming with excitement to the now frolicking wolves, the merriment and cheer and centered around Ark gradually began to alter the surrounding environment.
Say, meow? What's going on?
Little Red Riding Hood's discipline caused the wolves to change their ways. Bring about this fairy tale's happy ending.
Oh wow, it's over then. Okay, we're making progress. Quite the drastic change, isn't it? As your group takes in the view of the nearly converted surroundings, the rescued child approaches Ark and offers them some chocolates. So we haven't actually seen this background yet, but this is a new background for Valentine's Fantasy as well.
Little Red Riding Hood, thank you for saving me. I had these with me, and I thought you might like them.
More chocolate?
That's all I have to give right now, but I hope you'll accept it.
Doesn't contract put a toll on the contractor, so multiple contracts is ill-advised? Yes. Technically speaking, Arc should have a contract with their sacred artifact as well. But, you know, Arc's strong, you know, what's it called, girl power, yes queen, or something, even though, you know, they're not explicitly queen. Still speechless from the overwhelming chain of events that's just transpired. Arc awkwardly and almost automatically accepts the child's chocolates. Thank you. It makes me really happy to know you weren't afraid of me, like so many others have been. Not a moment passes before both Arc and Child beam the red smiles you've seen all day. It's a version of the story written by the same man that wrote Matilda. I actually don't know the story Matilda, so I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, Boogeyman's fading! No! People are not fearing things anymore. Afraid that he might ruin the always happy ending, Boogeyman surreptitiously excuses himself from the group. After all, he thinks to himself, given everything he's ever stood for, a child's laughter simply isn't a good fit for him. Nor is he for it. And the music died. Oh no! As he leaves, he becomes painfully aware of his own thin presence, but he pretends not to notice the pain in his heart. Aww. Poor Boogeyman. But yeah, that concludes the what's called episode 2, 3? Yeah, this was episode 3, I think. And also concludes Arc's arc. That sounds dumb when I say it like that. Let us just confirm that the next part will be episode 4. Yeah, so that will not be covered tomorrow. Instead, that will be covered next. Actually, let's just go to the guild first and turn on the spooky background. Almost the 2-hour mark. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to be exactly 2-hour mark, but I'm definitely aiming for under 4 hours for some of these. I know some of these stories can be quite long, but 2 hours is ideal. This was rather short in comparison, though, compared to other parts of story playthroughs I've done. But yeah, thoughts on that part so far? Arc, that's pretty cool, honestly. I just think it's kind of funny that we don't really know the backstory of Azistoth, of what happened to him, and we're just supposed to glance over the fact that, you know, Arc is using the main story revelation of motivation for protecting the kids, because, you know, he remembers, or they remember they couldn't save Azistoth, which is like, okay, sure. But yeah, I don't know, Arc was already a quite well-written character with every other event and story they've shown up in before. Just like Belore, I don't feel like it's added too much to their character, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think, you know, Arc was already quite a well-written character already. I guess we did get a new perspective on Arc, you know, being like, what's called, shy about their own sort of offensiveness to other people, because, you know, I guess they have some scary ability that has also made them keep away from others. I guess they are generally considered more of a family person, and so being appreciated by others is something new to them. As an outsider, just like the rest of the genociders, or it must be a new experience entirely to feel that appreciation from en masse a large group of children. Though it seems like the Boogeyman plot is progressing so that Boogeyman's you know, feeling bad that no kids are liking him. I mean, he still has Jurong and me and the cats. Poor guy, though. The wolves. I don't even know why there were kids there. Were there like brand new kids that didn't reach the forest yet? But yeah, supposedly we saved 2 of the what's it called? 6 children? Or 2 of the 7 children, rather. So there should be 5 more children to save. And we'll probably get through that for the next 2 or 3 episodes, plus the epilogue. Not the epilogue, it's the epilogue, except for closing things off. Well, the giants could have scared the kids, and they ran all the way into the forest. I mean, did they say that? I don't even know. It was sort of unclear why kids were there, honestly. They just said, let's go to the forest for some reason. I just assumed it was because they were trying to find the source of the problem. But I'm not sure if the magic community even applied there in the forest. Do the genociders have access to memories of previous loops like the warmongers do? I know they have 3 representatives. Do they have 3? Well, I thought it was just 2. There was Searcher and there was Azistoth. Yeah, I don't think there's any more representatives than that. So they should have memories, but they wouldn't necessarily share with each other. I mean, Azathos is the idiot god. He isn't really the kind of character to be in a sharing mood for, you know, bad timelines and all that. And the only time he really did do that explicitly was when Brig took over his dead body / sacred artifact so that he can embody his memories and tell it in a more sane manner. And also another time that happened was, I guess, in the dungeon memories was Azathos in the Shinjuku dungeon, but he never actually explicitly said anything until the very end of the world. You know? So I don't think Azathos is in the position to be able to share that sort of information. Besides that, wait, why are we still in the scene? Let's go to the scene. Yeah, but yeah, besides that, yeah, Surtur. I mean, I suppose he could have shared, but I don't think like he would share because he only has sad memories. I think is the gimmick of his sacred artifacts or pillar. Rather, it's not really something he would want to share with his family, I suppose, especially if they're not exactly trying to usurp the game in this timeline. Which I don't think they are based on just the writing. It seems like they're just trying to live a happy family. Babylon's a rep? What? No, there's no way she's a rep. They have no memories or anything. They don't have a pillar, and you know they never. I know reps don't have to have pillars like Michael, but like you know Babylon. What would they be repping? They were cast out of Eden or something, and so they don't represent Eden. There's someone else who represents Eden. And as for Gehenna, which is presumably where she got cast off to, there's like what's called Mephistopheles or some other demons from that are already reps. I don't know, but essentially there's no way Babylon's a rep. I don't think so anyways. A few weeks later then I came across Miss Red Riding Hood, but what a change. No cloak of red, no silly hood upon her head. She said, "Hello, and please note my lovely furry wolfskin coat." That's exactly how the story goes. Well, you know, that's one way to have them force Zeus to serve Ark. Just kill them and rip out their cloths. No, Azathos and Surtur are the reps. She is just balling their pillar. Yeah, that's the thing. She's was essentially the leader, even though Ark is the guild master. Babylon was the one who orchestrated the entire plan, but she was only able to do that through specifically making contact with Azathos and Surtur and contacting it. Yeah, that's what I thought. But anyways, Ark's story. Yeah, it's nice to just see them interacting with anyone besides just their family. So I've always been a big fan of Ark. Yeah, they look pretty swagger in that costume, and I don't know. It is pretty badass to be shooting chains out of a gun, I guess. Although it's kind of unclear of how that helped. But sure, accordingly, once they did shoot it out of the gun, apparently it stopped everyone at the same time. So maybe that's just her charge attack. But yeah, besides that, Housamo showed off a bit of their magic, which is we'll learn, but we know in game that's just like the evasion effect. Whenever he attacks, which is pretty high, and I don't know why everyone was like ready to fight in front, but I guess Ark was holding off because they didn't want to show their shame of scaring the children, but they seemed fine for it in the end. Yeah, overall, this was the episode for Ketchy and Ark, and not Ketchy. Was it Ketchy? Yeah, it was Ketchy, and I would say Ketchy's story was. It was pretty good, honestly. And it wasn't just solving the local problem, and then being the global solution to start dressing up and imitating these stories. And it was because of Ketchy's ingenuity that it led to everyone like this. And now we're seeing the trend of that with Ark continuing the story of like the heroic Red Riding Hood, which is an interesting take. I'm honestly surprised they didn't take more of a family route when explaining Ark's Ark, but it's nice, honestly. Character development. So, next Monday, there should be the arcs for Housamo and what's-his-face, Boogeyman, so look forward to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining, everyone. I will see you guys next Monday. I don't think I have any other videos or streams planned between, so yeah, that's the next time I'm seeing. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and happy grinding, and good luck with your classes, and whatever. Peace!